friends, it's me Trisha. Thanks for joining me on Creative Unique Treasures. This is going to be another Christmas, probably my last Christmas video, because Christmas, it's the first week of December, and I'll get these done and get them in my booth. My last video was of the spindle snowman, and I sold every one of them but one of them, so I have to make up a little bit more to put in my booth. I can't just leave the lonely one that's left. So I'm going to make up 4 more. So I'm going to paint these white, and I'm going to use buttercream, Dixie Belle's buttercream. So I'm going to put a coat of white paint on them. And then Jeff made me some trees. I wanted him to cut me some triangles out of wood. And then he had the idea of putting this little piece of wood on the back of it to help it stand. Because I thought to myself, if you cut out the triangle, it would stand by itself. But sometimes they get a little tippy. So that was kind of nice how he did that and created them little stands on the back. So I'm going to decoupage these, but first I'm going to go ahead and use the Dark and Decrepit DIY Debbie's Design Diary liquid patina. This is like a stain. It's wonderful. It has no VOCs, so it has no smell. And he cut me out some different sizes, small, medium, large. This one's made out of a pallet wood, but this is made out of pine. This is very light. This is a lot heavier of a tree. And he put, on all of them, he put little stands, so they'll stand up. And I'm going to decoupage these with, I did these last year in my booth, and they all sold. I do like buffalo check, or just paint them green, and do different, put snow on them. Anyways, that's what we're going to do, but right now I'm going to just go ahead and put the Dark and Decrepit on them, so they'll have a base paint on there. And that's what I'm going to do. So I got my Dixie Belle, and I'm going to have to stir it up because it gets really thick. But this has a built-in sealer. I don't use a lot of Dixie Belle, but I do like the color buttercream in Dixie Belle. So I'll go ahead and give these dry spindles a little spritz with the Mr. bottle. I think my Mr. bottle's on the fritz. The little pump thing. So I'll get these out of the way. We'll go ahead and do the spindles first. I'll get a base coat of buttercream and Dixie Belle on them. Let them dry. And while they're drying, I'll go ahead and put the Dark and Decrepit on the trees. And I did wipe everything off, get all the sawdust and the dirt off of the spindles and the trees with a wipey. Christmas is coming right up really fast. It always does. Once it hits December. We live in Michigan, and man, it sure got cold really fast. At least last year, I think that we actually had a tornado by about 2 miles down the road in February in Michigan. At the time I was working at a school and we ended up having a couple weeks off because we lost power, because all the all the poles, electrical poles, got knocked down. So that was it was February. Maybe it was leap year last year. February 27th. It was February 27th, I believe, or 24th, that we had that tornado. Whoops. Okay. There we go. Set it down. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to get these painted up and get the dark and decrepit on the trees. And this video will be like a combination. I won't show you how I do the snowmen, but I will show you how more in depth of how I do the trees, because I already showed you. If you haven't watched that video, I just put that one out like a week ago. Maybe not even a week ago, maybe about 4 days ago. The spindle trees or snowmen are inspired by Lisa from Our Shabby Cottage. So okay, let me go ahead and show you what the dark and decrepit is. It's very nice. It's like a brown. I'll use the other side of the, give it a gentle stir. It doesn't really get any thickness, but you can use water because it is water based. And I have this sponge here, paintbrush, but a lot of times I didn't grab a rag. I usually use a little rag that's a little bit wet, so I can just throw it away. But the dark and decrepit's really, I'll get these all. And actually I probably should just do the backs and the sides and then paint the fronts if I'm going to decoupage, so that the color of the, although if you sand your decoupage down a little bit and then this color comes through, it's kind of nice. It makes it look, just as long as it's not natural wood, that's not very, in my opinion, that's not very attractive. So get this on there, on all of them. Let it dry. It dries really fast. That way if I wanted to distress them a little bit, then this dark and decrepit would come through and not the natural pine. It's too blonde, too light. So that's what that looks like. And I can take a rag, and I should go get a rag and kind of wipe off the excess. So I'm going to get them all done, and I'll come back and show you how I decoupage them. Okay, I have all my trees are all stained on the back and on the front. I was going to do the front white, but I decided just to use the leftover dark and decrepit on the front, and that's why it's not so solidly covered. I just wanted something to come through in case when I decoupage, like the paper rips or I distress it or anything like that. I have my paint brushes and I have my Mod Podge and I have my little roller that I'll roll on my tree after I get that. Roll it on there like that. I have my spray bottle of water. So I'm going to go ahead and put some Mod Podge on here so I don't contaminate the whole jar. Okay, I'll put it like that. Put these off to the side and then put the lid back on. Get out of the way. And I'm going to do some buffalo check. I do have my saran wrap, and this comes in handy. I have a baggie. When you apply it, well, I'll show you, and then you use the saran wrap so that it doesn't catch it and pull it off and tear your paper. So the saran wrap really helps a lot. So okay, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and just start painting on the Mod Podge. Get it on there. If this was a napkin, I would have to do the layers of the napkin. So you guys can see. I'm just going to lay this on there. Whoops, okay, just pull all the way to the top. Take my saran wrap, kind of press it down. And then I'll cut this away. And I'll set this off to the side. So it will dry nice. And I'll just do a little bit of Mod Podge on the top. Give it a little mist of water because it's so thick. There we go. And once it dries, I will sand this off and tear this off. And I'll sand it going down like this. I won't go back and forth or I'll pull up my paper. So that's how I'll do that. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry nice. Probably at least until this evening. It's 11 o'clock a.m. before I sand it. Make sure it's nice and dry. I'll set it aside. So we'll go ahead and do another piece. this piece aside. I can use it for piecing together. I think I'll go ahead and cut this so I don't have such a big piece. Lay it down there, like so. There we go. I'll spray it a little bit. Stick it on there, grab my saran wrap, lay it on. Go ahead and put a layer on top. This goes pretty fast. There we go. And just lay that over there to dry. I have this buffalo check paper. I'm going to do some with that. And cut a piece of this out. This is just wrapping paper. Cut it out like so. Make sure it's tall enough. Might have cut it too short. Oh, there it goes. Works out like that. Okay. Okay. Oh, that one's gonna go. Paint it on there. Take my cellophane, rub it on. Put some of this away. Rub it down, try to get some of the wrinkles out. Doesn't matter if I have a little bit of wrinkles. And let's put another coat of Mod Podge on it. Alright. Set it over there. So I'm going to finish these up and do some different papers on them. I'll come back and show you the next step. Thanks for joining me. Okay, I wanted to show you. I have this scrapbook paper. It's a little thicker. So how I do this is I'm going to lay since it's a little bit thicker, I add a little bit of water to my paper to make it more pliable. So I'm going to go ahead and go around my tree so I can cut out make my paper a little bit smaller. So I don't have so much bulk. Get that out of my way. And what I'll do is first I'm going to add my Mod Podge to my tree. There we go. Get it all on there. And I'm going to get this wet so it bends a little bit easier, it's not so stiff. Lay it on my tree. Take my saran wrap, push it down. I could always roll it if I wanted to. Try to get the air bubbles out. And it's nice and down. Now I'll take a little bit of Mod Podge, just a little bit. And I'll brush it on the top. And wait for that to dry. And then I'll sand all the edges. There we go. So I got a couple green trees. And I got 3 red trees. Just using up the rest of this so I don't have to pour it back in there. Here's the other green one I got. It's got like a vertical rick-rack, I guess is what it kind of looks like. Here's the red one, red and black plaid. Alright, I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll come back and sand them and show you how I sand them. Thanks for joining me. Alright, so here's the trees. We got them all decoupaged. They're dry. Here's the red one, red plaid or buffalo chuck. There's the green and the black and white checkered. And here's this one with the like the rickrack, green rickrack kind of pattern. Here's another one of the red. There we go. Got them all on the table here. And I've already sanded a couple of them. So here's this one. And I sanded off the edges. And there's that standing up. I sanded off this one. So let's back it up a little bit. And there we go. And so all I'm doing is I'm taking about 150 grit sandpaper and I'm putting it on a 220 like sanding block just to hold it on there. And see, I'm gonna sand off this edge right here, and I'm going this way away. I don't want to go back onto the tree, sanding it this way. I want to go away from the tree so I don't lift up the paper. So I'm just sanding it off, and it comes off pretty easy. Gives you a nice clean edge. See how it's giving me a nice clean edge? That's all I want to do. I don't want to go back this way, like I said, where you take a chance of ripping your paper. And it pretty much cuts off pretty easy. There we go. All nice and nice edge. And there's that tree. So there's them three. Let me see if I can bring it down a little bit. Kind of go showing you how they stand up, which is pretty cool. And you can put them in your village. And they're just, like I said, they're just a square. They're not going to stand up that easily because I have a drop cloth underneath here, and it's got wrinkles in it. So let me go ahead and do a different one. Let's see. Let's do this green rickrack one. This is a little bit thicker paper. There. So see how it's getting a nice edge. So I'll get them. So that's how that looks. Nice clean edge. I'll do that to all of these. And I'll come back and show you how they all look. But that's about it on these. So I have some more of the red and black buffalo check. I have the green and white polka dot. But yeah, they look pretty cool when they're in a village. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and commenting. And stay tuned. I'm going to do some snowmen, and then I'm going to, I have these at the end of the video. I have some spindles, and Jeff did a little hole in them, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these on. Probably take the bottle brush trees out of this wooden part, and then just take the wooden, the piece of, what is it, like a piece of wire, and I'm going to stick that in there and hot glue it into there. So then it'll be a real cute little tree to put in your village, but it'll be a little bit higher because I have the spindle on the bottom. And they turn out really cute. So I'll do that at the end of the video. Whoops. Thank you for joining me.